Hey everybody, been a few minutes. Down here at our local rail to trail that they've put in. It's beside the Youghiogheny River. It's a little bit of a scenic morning here. It's Christmas Eve morning, and it's 52 degrees here in Pennsylvania, which is a little odd. Just wanted to sort of make this video to sort of cover where we've been for the last couple of weeks and where we're going in the future. Some of you may have realized there hasn't been a stash report in 2 months. And there hasn't been any content at all in 2 months. And if you checked into the channel at certain periods of time, all of the stash report stuff was put into private. The other channel that I made that was sort of for my own personal stuff was wholesale deleted. And yeah, stuff happens in life, right? So I guess this video may come off as somewhat negative because it'll cover a few things that have happened months ago now. But I feel like I need to speak the words into existence so that I stop thinking about them and thinking I should make a video, should not make a video, should make a video, should not make a video. So we're going to make the video. Let the cards fall where they may. So, yeah, back around Halloween. This is, by the way, I don't have to work tonight on Christmas Eve. This is the first week in 9 weeks where I haven't had to work 6 nights a week. Peak is over at FedEx finally, obviously, because Christmas is here. And so I'm just kind of looking forward to the ending of that. That was part of the sort of major reason why there hasn't been any content. Was I was working Monday through Saturday, through Monday night through Sunday mornings. And I did that before we went to Vegas, before we went to the IPMS Nats. And that was a lot of work at the time, but it was towards a goal, right? It was, we're going to Vegas. It's the first trip we've been on in 5 years, 6 years. It's just a husband and wife to go do something kind of thing. Survived the year of 2020 and all that, and had a great time. Blast in Vegas. It was awesome. And we went to Virginia Beach in October because there was a model show in Norfolk called the Tidewater Area Modeling Society TAMS show. It ended up not actually going to that show. Went to Virginia Beach and whatnot. Oops, can't put my hand there. There's the camera. And professional quality. And yeah, so didn't end up going to the show. Wasn't really feeling going to the show. Didn't have the thing done I was trying to get done for the show. And so it was kind of a black kind of trip to go on. But that's where I'm from. It's where I, am at peace, if you will. Water sign. Got to be next to the water. And so we ended up going to a bunch of open houses instead of the model contest. And explored more of our sort of joint desire to move down there. And it's still not something to do that's a while off. Maybe never. Maybe next year. We'll see. Not next year like 2022, but next year like 2023. But came back from that. And the reason I didn't really feel like going to the model show and whatnot was just, it kind of wears you down when you do the programming that we were doing, where it was a video every single week for 6.5 years. And it gets to a point where, and I don't want to come off sounding like a victim or whiny, where enough people tell you you don't know what you're talking about that you get tired of talking about it. And I don't know if it was burnout or just being tired of being told that I don't know what I'm talking about, that it was just, I was done. I was done doing videos every week, once a month, for the monthly recaps and all that sort of thing, because, I put obviously a lot of time and effort and work into developing what was not a very well followed YouTube channel. Clearly you can look at the sub number right down there and see. And I know it's not all about sub numbers and things like that. I don't want to make it about that kind of thing. That's a victim thing in the community of its own right. I don't have enough subs. But, you know, let's be honest. I've had enough people tell me I should have more subs, and I don't have enough more subs, that maybe I ought to believe those people, and I should have more subs. But anyway, it's obviously a niche thing to have me just blah at a camera for half an hour every Monday. And to have that sort of be constantly rebuffed by the experts online who don't know anything. They just have the ability to be on a social media platform and spout forth their stupidity. Just had some person a few days ago on a post on Atlantis Models Facebook post proceeded to tell me I didn't know what I was talking about with the Habaco bankruptcy in relation to Revell being bankrupt and what happened to all the molds in the United States and all that sort of thing, which is kind of hilarious because, you know, that was 4 years ago in April of 2022 coming up. It's pretty well covered. It's pretty well documented. I've made a whole video series on it. It is right now the most popular, most watched sets of videos I ever made. If I was ever going to monetize anything on this channel, it should have been those videos because some of them have 10,000, 12,000 views. And we're here 4 years later still arguing about that. Which doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me because it's sort of a done and dusted set of facts. You don't get your own set of facts, you get your own opinion. And when you're arguing about facts, that doesn't count. At any rate, but yeah, that sort of thing. It just goes on constantly. And I know I shouldn't let it bother me, and I know not to let the haters and blah, 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 and all that nonsense, right? But we're all human and we all have our issues. Letting things go, right? So, like I said, I was just slammed with work because in addition to working 6 days a week, I was also working 12-hour days 6 days a week because I was picking up extra time prior to what I normally do on a daily basis. And it was just too much to deal with in addition. It's like, okay, I have my family. They're, you know, priority 1, job priority 2, YouTube channel priority 37. And being constantly fought with about things I say on my YouTube channel or on Facebook or on forums, priority 92,317. And so I just like, whatever. And I guess the great irony in, you know, talking about it with people was, you know, they go, oh, you know, you need to go back to doing that. We really love the show. We really love what you did, which was nice to hear. Was the fact that, like, I was doing it for me. When I started 6.5 years ago, it was because I constantly saw all this nonsense online and I wanted to sort of correct it as much as I could, be the voice of reason, if that is such a thing online at this point in time in the world, and just sort of, you know, I don't know, be a source of good information. But I did it for me. I did it for my own personal amusement. And as 6.5 years go by, it started feeling like something I had to do. It started feeling like something I was obligated to do. I wanted to make a video about why I stopped making the videos like right away because I felt obligated to you guys and girls to tell you why I wasn't doing them. And that's sort of like the thing, right? I feel obligated to do these things. Why am I not doing these things? Like, I have to tell you why I'm not doing these things. Well, while I believe only one person has unsubbed from the channel in the entire last 2 months that I haven't made any content, I also have only received one email who, technically, the guy's local, so it doesn't count, who's asked me where I've been for the last 2 months. Now, I've had several friends reach out, which is great, because those are the people that should be reaching out, but for feeling obligated to do something, I find it very ironic that all the people that I felt obligated, bird just pooped on my arm, that's nice. Yeah, that's the kind of life I led. The action, the suspense, that's where I'm at. And, but at any rate, yeah, so nobody reached out and asked me where I've been. So I feel obligated to you folks to put out this content, and nobody cares if it's there or not. Which is not like a mean thing. Don't pile into the comments and be like, oh no, we just didn't know how to get a hold of you, blah, blah, blah. It's not that, again, that's not the point of this. But over the course of October, I had a series of escalating confrontations with people online about stuff that really shouldn't be fought about. Got drama at work. Not really drama at work, just a lot of it work. Just dramatically large amounts of work. And so, yeah, I canceled myself off of my other channel, It's all deleted. I don't even have the video backups to put it back up again. Because why? I can't. I was barely functioning one channel. I can't function two. And then I took everything down off of YouTube on this channel for a while. Some of the most recent content, like about 2 months worth, up from, I don't know, maybe middle of the summer through the end of the last video I put up in October. I put that back on. It became a big process. It was very easy to put everything private. It's very difficult for some reason to YouTube to put it back, and going through it individually is just something I don't have time to do right now. And yeah, so bickering, nonsense. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't. I thought I was doing something for the community, and it turned out that the community really doesn't give two craps about it. So that's cool, and so there won't be any more Stash Project in that sense. Now, I'll go into what I'm going to do with this channel here in a second. I don't want to go off. I'll end up Tokyo drifting off topic. And so, yeah, had a situation where this kit is going to be coming out, and personally I felt that the way that it was dealt with in terms of the marketing and the customer relations aspect of it was pretty shitty. But it's not surprising considering the company and their usual treatment of their customers. So I posted a post on Motorcars Magazine, the world's largest motorcar forum of bullshit you've ever seen. And without violating any forum rules, certainly didn't use any bad language like I just did, I basically just put up a couple paragraphs, little paragraphs, not a Bible or a novella, of why I thought that they're not making the Gen 7 car, and instead making the current new car was kind of a pull underneath the rug thing, because a lot of people were looking forward to that Gen 7 car, because in addition to being able to go backwards a year and make Chase Elliott's championship car, they were doing all these Hendricks cars, and you will be able to make the current car from this year that just won the championship. It is, after all, the car that won this year. Now, I understand why they didn't do it, but you had to have seen the live stream that they did announcing the new gen car to appreciate just how crappy they were treating their customer base that wanted this Gen 7 car, or as a Gen 6, whatever the heck the difference is. One of the current car, the one that had just won the championship. And they were proudly talking about how they even had to lie to Hendrick about what they were doing. And anybody who wanted that other car, well, you know what? It doesn't matter, because this other kit's so much better, and basically just go pound sand. And it was sort of a very humorous thing to me, because it is the first time, and I'm pretty sure I've dug deep enough, first time I've ever seen a situation where a model kit company had made a fake flyer for a product and then proceeded to not make that product and make a different product instead. And you'd be like, why the hell does that matter? Well, it doesn't really matter in the long-term scope of things, because it's plastic toy cars. But in the short-term way, why did you make a flyer for something that you're not going to do something else instead? Now, I understand why you couldn't tell Hendrick, because you had data to a car that even Hendrick didn't have data to. I might have not laughed about it very loudly and been like, ho, 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 we even lied to Hendrick, because I would think it would be very, very funny if Hendrick would pull their sponsorship, their licensing over that ha 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 joke, but they're not going to, so whatever. But to act like your customers are a bunch of, a tree, and I realize it's a shadow in front of my face. That doesn't make it any better. Anyway, to act like your customers are morons for wanting something that you advertised that you were going to make, but now are not going to. There was no reason to release that flyer to the public. There was no reason to show it to everybody. You show it to Hendrick. Oh yeah, this is what we're going to do. And then a couple weeks later, you're like, well, no, we're not really going to do that, because we're going to make your new car instead, because that's going to be so much more awesome. But why did you tell us? We didn't need to know. If one of the biggest derisions of everything in this hobby for anybody who talks about new stuff, me, Tim Boyd, or anybody else of that sort of ilk, is the fact that we're constantly called hobby insiders by people who don't get information from people ahead of time. Well, we didn't need to know about something you weren't going to make. What was the point of telling everybody? I don't understand the concept behind that thought process that went into telling a bunch of people some stuff and then going, ha. Their big excuse was, well, we tried to buy the molds from Revell and they wouldn't sell them to us. We can't get them out of China, so we're not going to make this thing. Because we would have bought the Chevy SS molds that were made, in 2015 or so, and we would have rebodied them with the current Chevy chassis or Chevy body that was on the Hendrix cars from Chase Elliott and from Kyle Larson. Can we stop with the homebodying about the fact that all these kits are made in the United States? I mean, everybody else's kits are made in China. You could have easily, and I'm sure Blitz would have taken the money, paid somebody to run you off 50,000 copies of it. I mean, if Tamiya is willing to sell Domino Models, which is the company that nominally owns Bell Kits, I'm not sure which way that ownership goes, but Bell Kits and Domino are the same company. If Tamiya is willing to run off a whole bunch of Ford Escorts Cosworths for a company in Belgium to sell, I'm pretty sure that Revell would have taken your money to run you off a whole bunch of Chevy SS. Run 50,000 of them off. Because you know you're going to sell them in groups of like 5,000, right? So that's 10 different Chevy kits you could have made. And I'm pretty sure you could have figured out a way to sell them because you've reissued every single Revell, all these Revell Buicks and Monte Carlos with about 83 different liveries on them in the last couple of years that you've had that tooling. So you could have figured out something to do with the extra spares. But anyway, so I made this post expounding upon that in a much more elegant way. And it was wholesale deleted from the forum. No explanation, no whatever. And I did say at the end that this was typical customer service by Salvino's, and I don't know, not terribly surprised, but still kind of tacky. Maybe they didn't like that part. But no cursing, nothing was out of line. It was a little bit of facts, a little bit of opinion. It's what we get out of me all the time, right? A little bit of facts, a little bit of opinion. And that really hit me the wrong way. To have that wholesale deleted, because I thought maybe I didn't hit post, but I went back and that forum has a feature where if you hit the text box and you didn't post what you're going to post, it pops back up and autofills. Like, do you still want to post this? And that wasn't there. And then I asked a few people, and they're like, yeah, we saw your post. We wondered where it went. I wondered why you deleted it. Well, we can't. If you're on that forum, you can't delete your own posts. That's been a funny thing about that thing for 15 years that I've been on it. You can't delete your own content. And, yeah. So that retired me from that forum. I've left the forum a couple of different times because of just bickering with people about plastic toy cars. It's a stupid way to make your lifestyle. And that was it. Didn't want to be there anymore. If I am now, everybody on that forum was very receptive to the coverage that I did of Las Vegas, because I did separate coverage to that forum that was in real time, and gave that feedback to Ed Sexton in real time the next day. And that was pretty cool for him. I don't think, he was obviously not checking the forums to see what people were thinking about the product line. And so for him to get instant feedback like that was really cool. He appreciated it. And yeah. Then, a month and a half later, I'm persona non grata and you're going to delete my posts without even an explanation? I don't know if Salvino's is putting a bunch of money into the magazine, the actual paper magazine that they're producing again, and they have enough say that they got the content deleted because they didn't like what I said about their stupid new Camaro, or if Greg, the guy that owns it, didn't like what I said about the stupid new Camaro in Salvino's and they deleted it. I don't know why it got deleted. Nobody said a word to me, and I'm not going to ask because I don't give a shit when it ultimately comes down to it. So I let that go, and I was busy with work, and I hadn't done anything to the videos yet. And then about 2 weeks later, give or take, actually it wouldn't have been 2 weeks, it would have been about 10 days later, I have to try to figure out a way to turn with, I'm not blinding you guys with the sun. About 2 weeks later, the Detroit Auto Area Modelers, or whatever they're called, the DAM show that's run in November up there. Show I'd like to get to someday, but it's just a little bit too far away to make a drive and come back. It's about 7 hours one way. Anyway, Mobius was there, and they were previewing showing a bunch of kits. Most of them were the things we showed you from Vegas, except they were painted this time around. And They also had a new test shot to the body for the Chevy 2 two-door post that's going to be the gasser of the upcoming Nova gasser Chevy 2 stuff. And Tim Boyd got a review copy, built the review copy, and just got absolutely lambasted in a way that would make your mother ashamed to know you over some issues with the kit that people were making up. Some of them valid, some of them not. And in the process proceeded to accuse Tim Boyd, and this was going on before my post was deleted, so I was seeing it in real time, that basically he was a chauffeur for Mobius, and it wasn't a valid kit review, and all this other horrible things you wouldn't say to somebody's face in person. And they ended up making some changes to the roof of this car, kind of, sort of. And I had said previously, I posted a big long post about how, you don't understand how model cars are made, the manufacturing aspect of it. And that the kit was too far along to do anything with this complaint that the roof looked chopped. And basically, the only way that they would fix that is if they could figure out a way to do it via optical illusion. This is what happened with the Revell Dodge Charger when it was done in the Pro Modeler line. Everybody seems to think that tooling was fixed in a way that the roof was physically, literally raised up and made higher. And what happened was Revell removed a bunch of material from the mold that makes it look like the roof is actually higher. But if you have one of the pre-fixed kits and one of the post-fixed kits, and you take a look at the window glass, I think we discussed this in the Vegas video, those glasses are the same. They didn't retool the windshield, the side windows, or the rear window. The roof of that kit is the same height as it was the first time. There is just some material removed from it, which makes it look like it's higher than it really is. It's an optical illusion. It is taking that sort of 1/25th scale, you're always going to be, scale speaking, 100 feet away from the car kind of thing, just view it, and using it to their advantage. And that's what I said. They're not going to fix this roof to the Chevy unless they can do it through optical illusion. So came out there was going to be some tooling changes made. They had the body there. And what they've done, and I don't know if I'll remember to put pictures up here or not. Hopefully I'll watch this whole video back to remember. They took, as you can see here, I'm just going to say that they're here. They took some material out from the inside window trim of the front windows. And I believe in the corresponding, from reading the notes that Tim had made about the thing, that they also, in the process, enlarged the vent window and the vent window trim to fill in the gap that is now there, because that there's basically 1.5 millimeters of material taken off, dimensionally speaking, top, bottom, and sides, to make that look higher than it really is. But the windshield, the rear glass, and the side windows, the ones that actually go behind the post between the B and the C pillar, aren't any bigger than they were before. So while, yes, technically speaking, this has been retooled in the sense that it has those new vent window pieces that really, if you know anything about CAD or Illustrator, requires you to take an anchor point, hold shift, and pull down about a half a drag on your mouse to make it that little bit bigger, make sure the angles all stay equilateral. Yeah, it's new, technically speaking, but it is also an optical illusion, because the roof of this vehicle, this model kit, is not any higher than it was before. And everyone has now came through rave reviews, right? Oh my God, it looks so much better now. It is the most awesome Chevy 2 ever made, even though I don't think there's ever been a Chevy 2 made in kit form. I think there were a couple resin bodies, but whatever. It's the most awesome thing was ever made. Oh, you can't believe the awesomeness that is this thing. And it's like, okay. And at that point, my post got deleted and I stopped following it. So somebody gets a hold of me through Messenger and said, hey, some guy just used your name without using your name. And they posted this post right here. And I'm not going to censor the person who posted this, because frankly, I've had gone around and around the block with this person on MCM more than anybody else there. And you'll notice he quote posted me about what I said. They wouldn't fix it unless, you notice the last sentence there? It said, unless it's an optical illusion, they're not going to fix this. And from what I understand, Mobius wanted to fix it, and the people in China were like, you're crazy, it's done, we're going to produce it. And they apparently had a knockdown, drag-down fight with the tooling place. We got the tooling place to actually do it. The tooling place didn't want to do it. This kit's now basically a quarter later than it would have been otherwise to make this minor change to the body that violates the 99% rule that I've made up. at any rate, they fixed it. And so I give Mobius props for that. Like, they didn't have to fix it. They shouldn't have fixed it, in my opinion. It's kind of a silly thing to fix, but they fixed it. So, good on them. They fixed it. Awesome. You notice the bottom part of that was something about how, like, oh, this unnamed kit expert, blah, hobby insider, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, see, that's why I don't want to do the weekly show anymore. Because you're completely and totally discounting exactly what I said, which was they'll fix it if they can do it through an optical illusion, which is what they did. I'm 100% correct. But you're not even going to use my name. You're gonna, everybody knows who I'm talking about. This asshole in Pennsylvania doesn't know what he's talking about. So you know what? Fine. I shouldn't let the haters bother me. I shouldn't let things like that be influencing me in a way that actually affects my actual real life and well-being. But there it is. So if you're wondering why there's no more Stash Report, why there will not be any more Stash Report, that right there will be a classic example of the shit that I've been dealing with for 6.5 years since making this channel by people who otherwise have absolutely no effing clue what they're talking about, but are going to talk to me like I'm an 8-year-old. So there you go. There's that. So what are we going to do with this mess of a YouTube nonsense now? Well, I'm not going to shut the channel down because I'm subscribed to all you folks through it. Right? All the folks that I watch, because it's all the YouTube community, modeling community, plus all my sports stuff, plus all my video game stuff, is all subscribed through this Yahoo, or not Yahoo, through this Google email. So yeah, I'm not going to bother to be all like, oh, screw you guys, I'm going to delete the whole channel. I thought about it, but I realized that I would lose all my subscriptions. Not my subscriptions, but the stuff I'm subscribed to, and that would be a pain in the ass to remember all the 500 channels that I'm subscribed to. So in 2022, and we may actually be back before 2022 because I'll have New Year's Eve off too, because if they don't want the trucks out with the drunks, I'm all up on that. With my stash project. This is going to be my channel now. It's not going to be for you folks anymore. Sorry. If you came here only for weekly videos of me blathering about stuff, it's been great to have you around. Appreciate the support for the last umpteenth years, but that ride's over now. Hopefully you'll hang around to see what we're going to do next. But yeah, we're not going to stop talking about new stuff. We'll always talk about new stuff because new stuff is cool. And even when it's new old stuff. But it's going to be way more focused on what I'm interested in, what I want to talk about, what I want to do, rather than getting feedback about how I'm not covering the American cars as much as I talk about the Japanese cars and all that stuff. Yeah, guess what? I like the Japanese shit, so we're going to talk about the Japanese shit. We'll talk about the relevant American shit too, but for the most part, yeah, this is going to be my stash project now, not the stash project for the masses. Hopefully, this will get more subscribers. Right? That'll end up being the irony of this. I'm not doing this crap for you anymore. I'm doing it for me. Oh, hey, that's what you people wanted to see the whole time. That'd be nice. But, yeah. So we're going to do some... I looked through the couple videos I've made on this channel for the last 6.5 years, and some of the most popular stuff, even though people said they hated it at the time, were the kit reviews. They have the most views. We have some new kits in. Haven't stopped buying anything. Just haven't done the, hey, look at all this crap I bought videos recently. We're going to do some kit reviews of some new stuff that's come out. We're going to constantly be talking about new stuff that's coming out. Because I still have, stuff to talk about. But we're not going to talk about the 85 different Aoshima restocks that go on every month. Because that was kind of boring to talk about. And, yeah. It's going to be a lot. Basically, a lot of people in this community right now are trying to figure out how to be everything to everyone in terms of their channels and their subscribers, because there's a couple of channels out there that make some interesting content and have gotten a whole bunch of subs very quickly, and now everybody's trying to figure out how to do that. And I'm taking the alternate approach to that, which is, this is my stuff, and if you like it, cool. If you don't, there's the door. You just jump right in this water right here. I'm sure it's nice and toasty for you. And yeah, that's going to be the way things work. So hopefully you'll like it. Hopefully you'll be cool with it. If not, Okay, it's been cool having you around, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Oh, and yeah, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.